Sir Roger George Moore, KBE, Premierer, the 14th of October 1927 to 23 May 2017, was an English actor. He is best known for playing secret agent James Bond in 7 feature films between 1973 and 1985. He also played Simon Templar in the television series The Saint between 1962 and 1969. Moore took over the role of Bond from Sean Connery in 1972, and made his first appearance as 007 in Live and Let Die, 1973. The longest-serving Bond to date, he went on to portray the spy in 6 more films. Appointed a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 1991, Moore was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2003 for services to charity. In 2007 he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work on television and in film, aptly located at 7007 Hollywood Boulevard. In 2008, the French government appointed Moore a commander of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres. Early life Roger Moore was born on the 14th of October 1927 in Stockwell, London. He was the only child of George Alfred Moore, a policeman, and Lillian Lily Pope. His mother was born in Calcutta, India, but was English. He attended Battersea Grammar School, but was evacuated to Holsworthy, Devon, during the Second World War, and attended Launceston College. He was further educated at Dr. Challoner's Grammar School in Amersham, Buckinghamshire. Moore apprenticed at an animation studio but was fired after he made a mistake with some animation cells. His father investigated a robbery at the home of film director Brian Desmond Hurst, which led to Moore being introduced to the director and hired as an extra for the 1945 film Caesar and Cleopatra. While there, Moore attracted an off-camera female fan following, and Hurst decided to pay Moore's fees at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Moore spent 3 terms at RADA, where he was a classmate of his future Bond co-star Lois Maxwell, the original Miss Moneypenny. During this time there, he developed the mid-Atlantic accent and relaxed demeanor that would become his screen persona. At 18, shortly after the end of the Second World War, Moore was conscripted for national service. On the 21st of September 1946, he was commissioned into the Royal Army Service Corps as a second lieutenant. He was given the service number 372,394. He was an officer in the Combined Services Entertainment Section and eventually became a captain, commanding a small depot in West Germany. He later looked after entertainers for the armed forces passing through Hamburg. Career Early work, 1945 to 1959. In the early 1950s, Moore worked as a model, appearing in print advertisements for knitwear, earning him the nickname The Big Knit, and a wide range of other products such as toothpaste, an element that many critics have used as typifying his lightweight credentials as an actor. In his book Last Man Standing, Tales from Tinseltown, Moore states that his first television appearance was on the 27th of March 1949 in The Governess by Patrick Hamilton, a live broadcast, as usual in that era, and he played the minor part of Bob Drew. Other actors in the show included Clive Morton and Betty Ann Davies. MGM. Although Moore signed a 7-year contract with MGM in 1954, the films that followed were not successes and, in his own words, at MGM, RGM Roger George Moore was NBG no bloody good. He appeared in Interrupted Melody, a biographical movie about opera singer Marjorie Lawrence's recovery from polio, in which he was billed third under Glenn Ford and Eleanor Parker as Lawrence's brother Cyril. That same year, he played a supporting role in The King's Thief starring Anne Blyth, Edmund Purdom, David Niven and George Sanders. In the 1956 film Diane, Moore was billed third again, this time under Lana Turner and Pedro Armendariz, in a 16th-century period piece set in France with Moore playing Prince Henry, the future king. Moore was released from his MGM contract after 2 years following the film's critical and commercial failure. Warner Brothers. After that, he spent a few years mainly doing one-shot parts in television series, including an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents in 1959 titled The Avon Emeralds. He signed another long-term contract to a studio, this time to Warner Brothers. In 1959 he took the lead role in The Miracle, a version of the play Das Mirakel for Warner Brothers showcasing Carol Baker as a nun. The part had been turned down by Dirk Bogarde. That same year, Moore was directed by Arthur Hiller in The Angry Young Man, an episode of the television series The Third Man starring Michael Rennie as criminal mastermind Harry Lime, the role portrayed by Orson Welles in the film version. Television series, 1958 to 1972. Ivanhoe, 1958-1959. Moore was the eponymous hero, Sir Wilfrid of Ivanhoe, in the 1958-59 series Ivanhoe. Ivanhoe, a loose adaptation of the 1819 romantic novel by Sir Walter Scott set in the 12th century during the era of Richard the Lionheart, delving into Ivanhoe's conflict with Prince John. Shot mainly in England at Elstree Studios in Buckinghamshire, some of the show was also filmed in California due to a partnership with Columbia Studios' Screen Gems. Aimed at younger audiences, the pilot was filmed in color, a reflection of its comparatively high budget for a British children's adventure series of the period, but subsequent episodes were shot in black and white. Moore suffered broken ribs and a battle axe blow to his helmet while performing some of his own stunts filming a season of 39 half-hour episodes and later reminisced, "I felt a complete Charlie riding around in all that armor and damned stupid plumed helmet. I felt like a medieval fireman." The Alaskans, 1959-1960. Moore's next television series involved playing the lead as Silky Harris for the ABC, Warner Brothers 1959-60 Western The Alaskans, with co-stars Dorothy Provine as Rocky, Jeff York as Reno and Ray Danton as Nifty. The show ran for a single season of 37-hour-long episodes on Sunday nights. Though set in Skagway, Alaska, with a focus on the Klondike Gold Rush in around 1896, the series was filmed in the hot studio lot at Warner Brothers in Hollywood with the cast costumed in fur coats and hats. Moore found the work highly taxing and his off-camera affair with Provine complicated matters even more. He subsequently appeared as the questionable character 14 Karat John in the two-part episode Right Off the Boat of the ABC, WB crime drama The Roaring Twenties, with Rex Reason, John Dehner, Gary Vinson and Dorothy Provine, appearing in a similar role but with a different character name. Maverick, 1960-1961. In the wake of the Alaskans, Moore was cast as Beau Maverick, an English-accented cousin of frontier gamblers Brett Maverick, James Garner, Bart Maverick, Jack Kelly, and Brent Maverick, Robert Colbert. In the much more successful ABC, WB Western series Maverick, Sean Connery was flown over from Britain to test for the part but turned it down. He had also filmed a Maverick episode with Garner 2 seasons earlier in which Moore played a different character in a retooling of Richard Brinsley Sheridan's 1775 comedy of manners play entitled The Rivals. In the course of the story, Moore's and Garner's characters switched names on a bet, with Moore consequently identifying himself as Brett Maverick through most of the episode. Moore's debut as Beau Maverick occurred in the first episode of the 1960-61 fourth season, The Bundle from Britain, one of 4 episodes in which he shared screen time with cousin Bart, Jack Kelly. Robert Altman wrote and directed Bolt from the Blue, an episode featuring Will Hutchins as a frontier lawyer similar to his character in the series Sugarfoot, and Red Dog found Beau mixed up with vicious bank robbers Lee Van Cleef and John Carradine. Kathleen Crowley was Moore's leading lady in 2 episodes, Bullet for the Teacher and KIZ, and others included Mala Powers, Roxanne Berard, Face Payne, Mary Anders, Andra Martin and Gene Cooper. Upon leaving the series, Moore cited a decline in script quality since the Garner era as the key factor in his decision to depart. Ratings for the show were also down. The Saint, 1962-1969. Lou Grade cast Moore as Simon Templar in a new adaptation of The Saint, based on the novels by Leslie Charteris. Moore said in an interview in 1963 that he wanted to buy the rights to Leslie Charteris's character and the trademarks. He also joked that the role was supposed to have been meant for Sean Connery, who was unavailable. The television series was made in the UK with an eye to the American market, and its success there, and in other countries, made Moore a household name. By early 1967 he had achieved international stardom. The series also established his suave, quipping style which he carried forward to James Bond. Moore went on to direct several episodes of the later series, which moved into color in 1967. The Saint ran from 1962 for 6 seasons and 118 episodes, tying the Avengers as the longest-running series of its kind on British television. Moore grew increasingly tired of the role, and was keen to branch out. He made 2 films immediately after the series ended, Crossplot, a lightweight, spy caper movie, and the more challenging The Man Who Haunted Himself, 1970. Directed by Basil Dearden, it gave Moore the opportunity to demonstrate a wider versatility than the role of Simon Templar had allowed. In 2004 Moore said of The Man Who Haunted Himself, "It was one of the few times I was allowed to act. Many say my best role was in The Man Who Haunted Himself. Being a modest actor, I won't disagree." The Persuaders, 1971-1972. Television lured Moore back to star alongside Tony Curtis in The Persuaders. The show featured the adventures of 2 millionaire playboys across Europe. Moore was was paid the then unheard of sum of £1 million for a single series, making him the highest paid television actor in the world. Lew Grade claimed in his autobiography Still Dancing, that Moore and Curtis didn't hit it off all that well. Curtis refused to spend more time on set than was strictly necessary, while Moore was always willing to work overtime. According to the DVD commentary, neither Roger Moore, an uncredited co-producer, nor Robert S. Baker, the credited producer, ever had a contract other than a handshake with Lew Grade. They produced the entire 24 episodes without a single written word guaranteeing that they would ever be paid. The series failed in the United States, where it had been pre-sold to ABC, which Curtis put down to its showing at the Saturday 10 p.m. slot, but it was successful in Europe and Australia. In Germany, where the series was aired under the name Die Zwei, The Two, it became a hit through especially amusing dubbing which only barely used translations of the original dialogue. In Britain it was also popular, although on its premiere on the ITV network, it was beaten in the ratings by repeats of Monty Python's Flying Circus on BBC One. Channel 4 repeated both The Avengers and The Persuaders in 1995. Since then, The Persuaders has been issued on DVD, while in France, where the series, entitled Amical mon votre, had always been popular, the DVD releases accompanied a monthly magazine of the same name. James Bond era, 1973 to 1985, James Bond films. Due to his commitment to several television shows, in particular The Saint, Roger Moore was unavailable for the James Bond films for a considerable time. His participation in The Saint was as actor, producer and director, and he also became involved in developing the series The Persuaders. In 1964, he made a guest appearance as James Bond in the comedy series Mainly Millicent. Moore stated in his autobiography My Word is My Bond, 2008, that he had neither been approached to play the character in Dr. No, nor did he feel that he had ever been considered. It was only after Sean Connery had declared in 1966 that he would not play Bond any longer that Moore became aware that he might be a contender for the role. After George Lazenby was cast in 1969's On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Connery played Bond again in Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, Moore did not consider the possibility until it seemed clear that Connery had stepped down as Bond for good. At that point Moore was approached, and he accepted producer Albert Broccoli's offer in August 1972. In his autobiography Moore writes that he had to cut his hair and lose weight for the role. Although he resented having to make those changes, he was finally cast as James Bond in Live and Let Die, 1973. After Live and Let Die, Moore continued to portray Bond in The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, Moonraker, 1979, For Your Eyes Only, 1981, Octopussy, 1983, and A View to a Kill, 1985. Moore was the oldest actor to have played Bond. He was 45 in Live and Let Die, 1973, and 58 when he announced his retirement on the 3rd of December 1985. Moore is also tied with Sean Connery as the actor who played Bond in the most movies. They both appeared in 7 Bond movies. Moore's Bond was very different from the version created by Ian Fleming. Screenwriters like George MacDonald Fraser provided scenarios in which Moore was cast as a seasoned, debonair playboy who would always have a trick or gadget in stock when he needed it. This was designed to serve the contemporary taste of the 1970s. Moore's version of Bond was also known for his sense of humor and witty one-liners. Moore himself said, "My personality is different from previous Bonds. I'm not that cold-blooded killer type, which is why I play it mostly for laughs." In 1987 he hosted Happy Anniversary 007, 25 years of James Bond. Other films during the Bond era. During Moore's Bond period he starred in 13 other films, beginning with a thriller featuring Susanna York, entitled Gold, 1974. He even made a cameo as Chief Inspector Clouseau, posing as a famous movie star, in Curse of the Pink Panther, 1983, for which he was credited as Turk Thrust II. Moore was widely criticized for making 3 movies in South Africa under the apartheid regime during the 1970s, Gold, Shout at the Devil, and The Wild Geese. Moore also made 2 World War II films in this period, both with all-star casts of character actors, and both co-starring David Niven, Trevor Howard, Patrick Macnee, and Barbara Kellerman also co-star, with a who's who lineup of British character actors. The other film, Escape to Athena, 1979, is a heist adventure set in wartime Greece, and stars Telly Savalas, David Niven, and features mostly American character actors, including Elliot Gould, Stefani Powers, Richard Roundtree, Sonny Bono, and Italian bombshell Claudia Cardinali. Post-James Bond career, 1986 to 2017, Moore did not act on screen for 5 years after he stopped playing Bond. In 1990 he appeared in several films and in the writer-director Michael Feeney Callan's television series My Riviera, and starred in the film Bed and Breakfast, which was shot in 1989, and also had a large role in the 1996 film The Quest. In 1997 he starred as the Chief in Spice World. At the age of 73, he played a flamboyant homosexual man in Boat Trip, 2002, with Cuba Gooding Jr. The British comedy show Spitting Image once had a sketch in which their latex likeness of Moore, when asked to display emotions by an off-screen director, did nothing but raise an eyebrow. Moore himself stated that he thought the sketch was funny and took it in good humor. Indeed, he had always embraced the eyebrows gag wholeheartedly, slyly claiming that he only had 3 expressions as Bond: right eyebrow raised, left eyebrow raised, and eyebrows crossed when grabbed by jaws. Spitting Image continued the joke, featuring a Bond film spoof, The Man with the Wooden Delivery, with Moore's puppet receiving orders from Margaret Thatcher to kill Mikhail Gorbachev. Other comedy shows at that time ridiculed Moore's acting, with Rory Bremner once claiming to have had a death threat from one of his irate fans following one such routine. In 2009 Moore appeared in an advertisement for the post office. He also played the role of a secret agent in the Victoria Wood Christmas special on BBC One show over the festive period in the same year, filming all his scenes in the London Eye. His mission was to eliminate another agent whose file photo looks like Pierce Brosnan. In 2010 Moore provided the voice of a talking cat called Lazenby in the film Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore, which contained several references to, and parodies of, Bond films. In 2011 Moore co-starred in the film A Princess for Christmas with Katie McGrath and Sam Heughan, and in 2012 he took to the stage for a series of 7 evenings with, in UK theaters, and, in November, guest hosted Have I Got News for You. Moore's last on-screen performance was in 2013, a brief cameo as himself in Incompatibles, first feature-length film of the then 21-year-old French director Paolo Cédolin Petrini. In 2015, Moore was named one of GQ's 50 best-dressed British men. Humanitarian work . Moore's friend Audrey Hepburn had impressed him with her work for UNICEF, and consequently he became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 1991. He was the voice of Father Christmas, or Santa, in the 2004 UNICEF cartoon The Fly Who Loved Me. Moore was involved in the production of a video for PETA that protests against the production and wholesale of foie gras. Moore narrates the video. His assistance in this situation, and being a strong spokesman against foie gras, led to the department store Selfridges agreeing to remove foie gras from their shelves. Personal life . Dorn Van Steen . In 1946, aged 18, Moore married a fellow RADA student, the actress and ice skater Dorn Van Steen, born Lucy Woodard, 1922 to 2010. Moore and Van Steen lived in Streatham with her family, but tension over money matters and her lack of confidence in his acting ability took their toll on the relationship, during which he allegedly suffered domestic abuse. Dorothy Squires . In 1952, Moore met the Welsh singer Dorothy Squires, who was 12 years his senior, and Van Steen and Moore divorced the following year. Squires and Moore were married in New York. They lived in Bexley, Kent. After their marriage, they moved to the United States in 1954 to develop their careers, but tensions developed in their marriage due to their age differences and Moore's infatuation with starlet Dorothy Provine, and they moved back to the United Kingdom in 1961. Squires suffered a series of miscarriages during their marriage, and Moore later said the outcome of their marriage might have been different if they had been able to have children. In their tempestuous relationship, Squires smashed a guitar over his head, and after learning of his affair with the Italian actress Luisa Mattioli, who became Moore's third wife, Moore said that she threw a brick through my window. The numerous legal cases launched by Squires led her to be declared a vexatious litigant in 1987. Moore paid Squires' hospital bills after her cancer treatment in 1996, and upon her death in 1998. Luisa Mattioli . In 1961, while filming The Rape of the Sabine Women in Italy, Moore left Squires for the Italian actress Luisa Mattioli. Squires refused to accept their separation, and sued Moore for loss of conjugal rights, but Moore refused the court's order to return to Squires in 28 days. Squires also smashed windows at a house in France where Moore and Mattioli were living, and unsuccessfully sued actor Kenneth Moore for libel, as Moore had introduced Moore and Mattioli at a charity event as Mr. Roger Moore and his wife. Moore and Mattioli lived together until 1969, when Squires finally granted him a divorce, after they had been separated for 7 years. At Moore and Mattioli's marriage in April 1969 at the Caxton Hall in West Westminster, London. A crowd of 600 people were outside, with women screaming his name. Moore had 3 children with Mattioli, actress daughter Deborah, born 1963, 2 sons, Jeffrey and Christian. Jeffrey is also an actor, and appeared alongside his father in the 1976 film Sherlock Holmes in New York. In later life he co-founded Hush Restaurant in Mayfair, London, with Jamie Barber. Jeffrey and his wife Lulu have 2 daughters. Moore's younger son, Christian, is a film producer. Christina Kiki Tholstrup Moore and Mattioli separated in 1993 after Moore developed feelings for a Swedish-born Danish socialite, Christina Kiki Tholstrup. Moore later described his prostate cancer diagnosis in 1993 as life-changing, which led him to reassess his life and marriage. Mattioli and Tholstrup had long been friends, but Mattioli was scathing of her in the book she subsequently wrote about her relationship with Moore, Nothing Lasts Forever, describing how she felt betrayed by Tholstrup and discarded by Moore. Moore remained silent on his divorce from Mattioli, later saying that he did not wish to hurt his children by engaging in a war of words. Moore's children refused to speak to him for a period after the divorce, but they were later reconciled with their father. Mattioli refused to grant Moore a divorce until 2000, when a £10 million settlement was agreed. Moore subsequently married Tholstrup in 2002. Moore would later say that he loved Tholstrup as she was organized, serene, loving and calm, saying that I have a difficult life. I rely on Christina totally. When we are traveling for my job she is the one who packs. Christina takes care of all that. Moore also said that his marriage to Tholstrup was a tranquil relationship. There are no arguments. Tholstrup had a daughter, Christina Knudsen, from a previous relationship. Knudsen described her stepfather as a positive influence, saying I was in difficult relationships but that all changed when her mother met Moore. Christina Knudsen died from cancer on the 25th of July 2016, at the age of 47. Moore posted on Twitter that we are heartbroken and we were all with her, surrounding her with love. At the end, political alignment . On politics Moore stated he was a conservative and thought that conservatism is the way to run a country. The BBC listed Moore prior to the 2001 UK general election as a celebrity backer of the British Conservative Party. In 2011, Moore gave his support to Conservative Prime Minister David Cameron regarding his policy on the European Union, stating, tax exile . Moore became a tax exile from the United Kingdom in 1978, originally to Switzerland, and divided his year between his 3 homes, an apartment in Monte Carlo, Monaco, a chalet in Crans, Montana, Switzerland, and a home in the south of France. Moore became a resident of Monaco, having been appointed a Goodwill Ambassador of Monaco by Prince Albert II for his efforts in internationally promoting and publicizing the principality. Moore was scathing of the Russian population in Monaco, saying that I'm afraid we're overstuffed with Russians. All the restaurant menus are in Russian now. Moore said in 2011 that his decision to live abroad was not about tax. That's a serious part of it. I come back to England often enough not to miss it, to see the changes, to find some of the changes good. I paid my taxes at the time that I was earning a decent income, so I've paid my due. Health . Moore nearly died from double pneumonia when he was 5. He had an infection of his foreskin at the age of 8 and underwent a circumcision, and had his appendix, tonsils, and adenoids removed. Moore was a long-term sufferer of kidney stones and needed to be hospitalized during the making of Live and Let Die in 1973 and again while filming the 1979 film Moonraker. In 1993, Moore was diagnosed with prostate cancer and underwent successful surgery for the disease. In 2003, Moore collapsed on stage while appearing on Broadway, and was fitted with a pacemaker to treat a potentially deadly slow heartbeat. In 2012, Moore revealed he had been treated for skin cancer several times. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2013. Death . Moore's family announced his death in Switzerland, on the 23rd of May 2017, from a brief battle with cancer. He died in Crans, Montana. Royal circles . Moore had friendships with some of Denmark's royal family. Prince Joachim and his then-wife Alexandra, Countess of Frederiksborg, invited Moore and his wife Kiki to attend the christening of their youngest son, Prince Felix. On the 24th of May 2008, Moore and his wife attended the wedding of Prince Joachim to his French fiancée Marie Cavallier. Moore also had a long-standing friendship with Princess Lilian of Sweden, whom he first met on a visit to Stockholm for UNICEF. Moore's wife Christina, who was born in Sweden, was already a friend of Princess Lilian's through mutual friends. In his autobiography, Moore recalled meeting the princess for tea and dinners whenever he and his wife visited Stockholm. He spoke of his recollections at the Princess Memorial Service at the English Church in Stockholm, on the 8th of September 2013. On 1 and the 2nd of July 2011, Moore and his wife attended the wedding of Prince Albert of Monaco and Charlene Wittstock. Honors and awards. On the 9th of March 1999, Moore was appointed a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE, and promoted to Knight Commander of the same order, KBE, on the 14th of June 2003. The citation on the knighthood was for Moore's charity work, which dominated his public life for more than a decade. Moore said that the citation meant far more to me than if I had got it for acting. I was proud because I received it on behalf of UNICEF as a whole and for all it has achieved over the years. On the 11th of October 2007, 3 days before he turned 80, Moore was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work on television and in film. Attending the ceremony were family, friends, and Richard Keel, with whom he had acted in The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. Moore's star was the 2,350th star installed, and is appropriately located at 7007 Hollywood Boulevard. On the 28th of October 2008, the French government appointed Moore a Commander of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres. On the 21st of November 2012, Moore was awarded an honorary doctorate from the University of Hertfordshire, for his outstanding contributions to the UK film and television industry for over 50 years, in particular film and television productions in Hertfordshire, for his charity work. 2007, Dag Hammarskjöld Inspiration Award, UNICEF. 2004, UNICEF's Audrey Hepburn Humanitarian Award. 2003, German Federal Cross of Merit, Bundesverdienst Kreuz, for his UNICEF work. 2003, Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire, KBE. 1999, Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE. Lifetime Achievements Awards. 2008, Commander of the French National Order of Arts and Letters, Ordre National des Arts et des Lettres. 2007, Hollywood Walk of Fame. 2004, TELEKAMERA, Teletidzian Lifetime Achievement Award, Poland. 2002, Monte Carlo TV Festival, Lifetime Achievement Award. 2001, Lifetime Achievement Award, Filmfestival, Jamaica. 1997, Palm Springs Film Festival, USA, Lifetime Achievement Award. 1995, Telegato, Italian TV, Lifetime Achievement Award. 1991, Golden Camera, German TV, Lifetime Achievement Award. 1990, Bambi, Lifetime Achievement Award from the German magazine Bunt, for his acting. 1981, Otto, Most Popular Film Star, from German magazine Bravo. 1980, Saturn Award, Most Popular International Performer. 1980, Golden Globe, World Film Favorite Male. 1973, Bambi, shared with Tony Curtis for The Persuaders, from the German magazine Bunt. 1973, Best Actor in TV, award from the French magazine TELE7JOURS, shared with Tony Curtis for The Persuaders. 1967, Ondas Award, Spanish TV for The Saint. 1967, Otto, Most Popular TV Star for The Saint, from German magazine Bravo. Publications. Moore's book about the filming of Live and Let Die, based on his diaries, titled Roger Moore as James Bond. Roger Moore's own account of filming Live and Let Die, was published in London in 1973, by Pan Books. The book includes an acknowledgement to Sean Connery, with whom Moore was friends for many years. I would also like to thank Sean Connery, with whom it would not have been possible. Moore's autobiography My Word Is My Bond, ISBN 0061673889, was published by Collins in the US, in November 2008 and by Michael O'Mara Books Limited in the UK, on the 2nd of October 2008, ISBN 9784843173182. On the 16th of October 2012, Bond on Bond was published to tie in with the 50th anniversary of the James Bond films. The book, with many pictures, is based on Moore's own memories, thoughts, and anecdotes about all things 007, with some of the profits of the book going to UNICEF. Bibliography. Roger Moore as James Bond, Roger Moore's own account of filming Live and Let Die, 1973. My Word Is My Bond, The Autobiography, 2008, ISBN 9780843173878. Bond on Bond, The Ultimate Book on 50 Years of Bond Movies, 2012, ISBN 9781843178613. Last Man Standing, published as One Lucky Bastard in the United States, 2014, ISBN 9782782432074. Filmography. References. External links. Official site. People, Roger Moore, UNICEF, Roger Moore on Internet Movie Database, Roger Moore at the Internet Broadway Database.